Hello and good morning, this is Freddy and welcome to my third part of my tutorial series. Today I'm going to talk about plan shots and plan camera movements, and this is what we are going to do this time. So first of all, you might be asking yourself, what is he talking about? I will show you my this. So what you see here is it's similar to a storyboard. This is what I want to do with you guys today. So what you see here is I have planned the shots, made some dummy animations, really basic animations, but I have already done all the camera animations, and you can see the main actor as he is moving. Well, I will show you the next part because you might recognize it from my first video. You remember this one, maybe? So that was how I started. I made this little animation with really basic camera and a really basic animation of the actor itself, just to know where he is moving and how fast approximately. And yes, you remember the final preview, I hope. If not, go and watch my first tutorial. And yeah, this is what we're going to do today. And I have some facts and good tips you might be interested in. So, what is a storyboard, by the way? Well, I'm sure you all know what a storyboard is. This is a storyboard. It's like a comic of something. You plan your shots, and well, that's how you would go forward to film it in a movie. And you also need storyboards for a 3D animation movie. I can show you my storyboard for the Teamgeist movie I'm working on. So what we have here are I made like a picture for each shot, for each different camera shot, and I can show you some of them. This is what we try to build in Cinema 4D, exactly like it looks here. What you may recognize is we have these short letters like BCU and whatever here. What does that mean? It basically means I don't know if you have ever seen this before, but in film industry there are some basic camera shots, I don't know, yeah, like very long shot, and you should know them. A very long shot is where you see like everything and the actor just really small in the picture, and well, it's self-explaining, and I would recommend to look for something like that. I will put a download link in description. You might use it for your storyboard, for example, and it's really helpful for planning shots, etc. The next part, what you could do with your storyboard is, well, film or make photos from your storyboard or scan it in your computer, however you want to do it, and then try to make a movie out of this storyboard. I have done this in Teamgeist, so it looks like this. We already have the sound, which is not necessary, but if you have it, why not? And now you see all the pictures.
Timo, fang mich doch, hier bin ich.
I will show you the pictures. Here we go. Then we come to this side. Yes. And this is nothing else than the storyboard in real time and with music. So this is very important. But we don't need to necessarily do a storyboard, because if we just do the preview, which I've showed you at the beginning, here it is again, If we do this, we should be more than prepared for a good Minecraft animation. And well, so let's get started. I will open Cinema 4D and I will open our scene we have already started last time. Here it is. Well, I had to rebuild it because I didn't save it last time, but here it is again, and I used the standard texture pack. However, first of all, I want to explain some camera adjustments and the output resolution. What you're going to look for, I don't know. You have in your render settings your film and video output settings. What we will use probably is HD TV or HTV, where is it? Yeah, this one, 720 or 1080 with 25 frames per second. What you also could do if you want the movie screen, you know, it's a little bit more widescreen than usual. It's 1920 times 810, and this is what I'm working with at the moment. So I will take this resolution, and you might see that I have this, well, it's called save title area, and I will show you how to get this because it's really important. I think at least it's really important. So if you go to mode and go to your view settings, you can go to view, and here you have the save frame. What this does is well, you have your title save area and action save area, and you should always try to, well, build your scene so that everything that happens is inside the action save area, because if you go and watch your movie when it's finished on different televisions, it might happen that the television cuts off something at the side, and that's not good, especially if you have a title and it's cut it off at the edge. That looks not good. So keep your titles and actions inside at least the outer line. So save frames, action save and title save area, keep that in mind. But for now we want to start with a little animation. First of all, I will have to import a character. You already have it. If not, or if you have a different one, it's okay. For all who didn't see my first tutorial, in my first tutorial I gave you this download link of a Minecraft rig that I'm using for some animations, and this is it. We want to prepare our animation in which we see him climbing up on this ant ship, spider, wooden stuff, whatever. So what we do first of all is do a basic animation just to know where he is and what position he is in the final animation. So I will set the keyframe at frame 0, then go 1.5 seconds forward and position him here in front of this big leg or whatever. Set a keyframe again. So we see how he's coming through here, and I recommend to put your keyframes to linear. So now he's coming nicely, then he stands, looks up, and now we'll set a new keyframe. Then he moves forward to this big wooden leg. Here is your wooden leg. And let's watch it again. Yes, he comes, looks up, goes forward, then he climbs up. How long would it take him? Something about maybe almost 2 seconds, I guess. 2 seconds would be like 50 frames, which means so at frame 124 he is up here. Keyframe it. Then how long would it take him to climb up here? By the way, how would he climb up? This is up to you, but we will see it when we come to the next part, where we will do some animations. But so please stay here for a while, because this is really important, especially the camera movements. So I will do this quick. Move him forward, and now give him some more 50 seconds to climb up here, or maybe like 1 second to jump onto this little part here. And then, oh yes, and then is jumping up to this part, grabbing with his hands, make a keyframe here, look at the time. Yes, that might be okay. And now he is upside. So I didn't put these keyframes to linear, but whenever you have him walking on a flat ground, you should put the keyframes linear, just trust me, otherwise you will be confused when you go to animation stage. So now he is upside, and because we are lazy, he is not jumping up on these blocks. No, instead he is just turning around, looking to the sun, and he is happy because he made it. Turning around and be happy. 300 frames, let's make it to 350 because we are lazy. And that's it. So now we, now we have a simple animation. We know where our character has to be and approximately how long he will take to climb at each point, and which frame he will be up and down, and that's good so far. But now we come to the important part, which is the camera. How do we want to solve this in cameras? So we already made our settings for the resolution. We just need to import some cameras. For the first, we see him running to this spider. How could we show this? I would make a nice, I will open this again for you. I will make a nice very long shot for the beginning, where we see the entire scene and him walking to the spider. We could decide if we want to see the sun in the background, but I don't, not yet. So let's say this is our first camera view, where we see him walking to this big lake. So make a camera, call it camera 1, and we don't need to make it a moving camera, so keep that in mind. I know it's really simple to make camera movements in a 3D program, but that does not necessarily mean that you have to do some If you watch professional movies and stuff, you will see that they don't really use, well, it depends on the movie, but there are a lot of movies which don't use a lot of camera movements, so you really don't have to use them. Keep that in mind. I will use a still camera for now. It's a, say, a camera crane, which positioned the camera up here. Good. Then for the next part, I want to see his face, because he is looking up and we want to see that. Let's say I will take this camera where we see him come here and look up. So I will make my camera 2, go inside the camera, and what I do now is activate auto key and select my camera, because I want to make it move. If I hit R on the keyboard, rotate, I can rotate my camera now that I have selected it. So I am aiming to him, and I will make a little bit of handycam feeling. So as he comes nearer, I'm rotating the camera a little bit, and when he looks up, I try to, well, look up with the camera also. And while he is climbing, I will let the camera here, because at this point I want to put in the next camera. So disable auto key again. What could be a nice next camera, and what would be better than something where you see, well, where he has to climb up, like maybe this perspective with a nice foreground here, or this perspective. With a nice foreground here. And I would take this. So what I do is put in my next camera. Let's say, where do I want to start? I will start animating it here. Set a keyframe, or go into auto key, but in this case I will set the keyframe by hand. So, and while he starts climbing, I will rotate, well, not rotate, actually move the camera up to here. Set a keyframe. And now I set these keyframes to linear, because the camera movement should be linear. Camera movements should always be linear. Except if you want to, well, let your camera stop in front of your character, then it should not stop linear, but for most camera movements it should always be linear. This is a little bit too fast, and that's why I grab it and make it longer, move it a little bit down, and now it's a nice camera movement. Okay, let's move it a little bit forward, because I want to see more of his face. That's good. And now, what? Oh, good that I have auto key off, because I just changed the camera. Always go out of your camera. Here I want to use, oh, this looks nice with this, with the sand in the foreground. I will just use a still camera again, call it camera 4, and this is my still camera. You see him climbing up here, and then we see him climbing up there. So what could we take for this part? Maybe medium shot, or at least something like that. That looks pretty nice. So I will make my next camera, call it camera 5, position it here, and start animating it from that point. This camera is just rotating, so enable auto key, set first keyframe, and try to let him be in the picture. By the way, that's another thing. You should keep in mind, it's not always good if you point exactly at your character so that he is in the middle of your picture. Usually it looks better if he is a little bit on the side, which in this case would be a lot better if we position the camera like now, so that we have a lot of sky on the right side, which looks good, and see him on the left side. So the camera is just following him, and here we go. Now I need a last camera, which should be the final camera for the ending shot. So I will take a nice... Oh, this is actually a really bad position from him. Ah. Well, because I want to have the sun inside. But yes. Okay, you know what I'm doing? It might happen that you need to, well, fix some stuff. So I'm going to delete this, because just for my tutorial purpose I really want to have the sun in the image at the last frame, for example. At least at the last frame, because I want to show you some combination stuff with After Effects. So I will select this, move it, and go activate quantize. Then I will have to go in modeling tab and say quantize 100 centimeters. Now I move this down for 2 times, and this should be perfect. What we're doing now is, say, schleich dich Neger, ich nehme Tutorial auf. We can make our nice last camera movement. For this we need our last camera, position it here, and of course disable quantize again. So we see him come up here, enable auto key, and as I said before, put him a little bit on the left or right side of the picture, which would mean I should also put him, well, no, in this case he is allowed to be in the middle. And the camera is moving with him, going up. And where is the light? Here is the light. The camera is looking upsides. This looks good. This looks good to me. Yeah. Well, maybe it would be even better if the sun is more in the frame. So I will move the camera over here. Then I have, of course, to let him be on the right side of the picture. So, and this now is a nice camera movement. Very good, very good. Because now we have our sun a little bit in the frame. Good. Okay, go out, view camera, disable auto key, and what we did now is we set up a couple of cameras which are all moving at a different time. Now we're going to use the stage object to, well, cut the cameras so that we don't have to render it out 6 times. We will render it once. So go to the stage object, which is under here, stage, and what I always do is put all my cameras inside the stage object, and then I'm going to the stage tab, activate. It is activated, and now what I can do is put in my first camera under camera, object properties camera, and here it is. My first, what's that? I don't know. My first camera is in, and I see what I wanted to see. So I will, how long do I want to see the first camera? I want to see it to frame 30. So here I need to click Control and on this little point, then go 1 frame forward or click G on your keyboard and drag in your second camera. Now make a new keyframe again. And how long do we want to use this camera? I want to use it to this frame, so I set a new keyframe, go 1 frame forward and drag in my third camera, keyframe it. So now he's coming, and now I decided to make it a little bit earlier. I want camera 3 a little bit earlier, so I can just move these keyframes. And now I want my camera 4. Click on stage object again and put in your camera 4. Keyframe it. Okay. Then we see how he's climbing up. Here I need already my camera 5. Keyframe it. And now we see how he's climbing up here. Jumping and climbing. And here I want my camera 6. So keyframe camera 6, and here we go. So what we have now is our finished preview. Now we have planned the animation, have made our camera shots, and now we are ready to animate. And this is what I wanted to show you and what I really recommend to do before starting to animate. So, well, next part would be to render out a preview, and if you have more scenes in your, what you will have in your video, then you should edit all your previews together, like you have seen it in my parkour preview. So if you go on render settings and make preview, if you have not already seen this before, you can go to preview mode, say hardware preview, and now you can adjust if you want all frames and how big it should be. Of course, the bigger it is, the longer it will take, but normally making a preview really does not take a lot of time. I will say 500 and I will use the QuickTime format, and under options I will go to my H.264 format with 25 pictures, so that the file is really not big, which is good because when I make previews I'm used to like send it to my, well, to other people using Dropbox, and that's why I keep my file size low, small. So hit OK with that, and it's calculating your preview. And as you see, it's going really fast. So yes, I hope it was not confusing. I hope you did learn something, and be prepared for the next tutorial where we are going to start animating this. Here's our preview. Now we see the finished preview animation, and this is what we're going to animate next time. Okay, so with that, have a nice day and stay tuned for next time. Goodbye.